The morning came with lavender colors, spilling softly through the glass, turning shadows into paintings as another day began to pass. Coffee steam rose toward the ceiling like a slow and drifting cloud, and the room was filled with silence, gentler than the city sound. The chairs were waiting by the tables like old friends prepared to stay, while the piano played a melody to welcome in the day. A newspaper lay forgotten beside a half-finished cup, and the sunlight touched the pages as the world was waking up. There was nowhere I needed to be, nothing calling me away, only music, light, and coffee in the calmness of the day. Lavender mornings and empty cups scattered across the room. Every note the piano whispers feels like flowers coming into bloom. The jazz drifts slow as a river beneath the golden sky above. Lavender mornings and empty cups filled with little pieces of love. Someone smiled across the counter, someone waved before they left, someone sat alone and somehow made the room feel less bereft. The bass kept walking through the harmony like footsteps down a quiet street, and the brushes painted silver circles underneath the gentle beat. Outside, bicycles rolled past slowly, leaves were dancing in the breeze, but inside the cafe's heartbeat moved with effortless ease. The scent of cinnamon and espresso floated softly through the air, wrapping every conversation in a warmth beyond compare. Maybe time slows down on purpose in places built for dreaming hearts, where melodies and memories never really drift apart. Lavender mornings and empty cups scattered across the room. Every note the piano whispers feels like flowers coming into bloom. The jazz drifts slow as a river beneath the golden sky above. Lavender mornings and empty cups filled with little pieces of love. Melted into sunlight like ice dissolving in a glass, and nobody seemed concerned about how quickly time might pass. The room became a living story, told through laughter, notes, and light. Every table held a memory, every window framed the sky. I reflections on the hardwood move along the polished floor, like they had their own direction towards somewhere worth searching for. And the music kept unfolding like a road without an end, a quiet conversation between strangers and old friends. Maybe all the things that matter cannot ever be defined. Maybe they exist in moments that we carry in our minds. I used to think that happiness was waiting somewhere far away, beyond the trains and crowded highways, beyond another busy day. But now I find it in the stillness of a simple melody, in the warmth of shared existence, and a fresh brewed cup of coffee, in the sunlight on the tabletops, in the rhythm of the rain, in a song that softly lingers long after the final refrain. Lavender mornings and empty cups scattered across the room. Every note the piano whispers feels like flowers coming into bloom. The jazz drifts slow as a river beneath the golden sky above. Lavender mornings and empty cups filled with little pieces of lavender mornings and empty cups. Stay a little longer now. Leave your glow upon the window. Leave your warmth upon my soul. Every chord becomes a memory, every smile a work of art. Lavender mornings and empty cups leave their echoes in my heart. The morning came with lavender colors. Morning whispers through the window, painting shadows on the floor. A fresh aroma fills the silence, like I've never felt before. People passing in a daydream, moving gently down the street, while the city slowly opens to a rhythm soft and sweet. Every moment feels so weightless, floating lightly with the breeze, and the music in this corner brings a quiet sense of ease. A soft piano fills the cafe, notes like sunlight on the wall. Every melody keeps drifting, like a feather as it falls. Coffee warming by the window, while the morning starts to glow. Wrapped inside these gentle moments, little stories all around me, yet somehow I'm not alone. The guitar keeps softly dancing with the brushes and the bass. Every chord becomes a memory, every note a warm embrace. Time is moving just a little slower than it usually goes, and the calm inside this cafe feels like something heaven knows. A soft piano fills the cafe, notes like sunlight on the wall. Every melody keeps drifting like a feather as it falls. Coffee warming by the window, while the morning starts to glow. Wrapped inside these gentle moments, in a mellow amber flow. Hours passing like a river, smooth and easy as a song. Every little conversation seems to carry me along. Outside traffic keeps on moving, but it feels so far away. In this cozy little corner, I could gladly choose to stay. Maybe happiness is simple, maybe peace is found right here, in the scent of fresh roast coffee and the music in my ear. No grand answers, no distractions, just a moment made of gold, like a photograph of sunlight that the heart can always hold. A soft piano fills the cafe, bringing warmth to every chair. Every chord becomes a painting, floating softly through the air. Coffee cooling by the window as the day begins to grow. Still, I'm lost inside the feeling of that mellow amber glow. A soft piano fills the cafe, and the world keeps turning slow, leaving traces of its magic in a mellow amber glow. Morning coffee, amber glow. Amber glow. The morning opens like a story, written in a golden hue. Sunlight spills across the cafe, painting everything anew. Coffee cups line up like memories, patiently in rows, while the scent of roasted sweetness through the quiet room still flows. There's an old clock near the counter, ticking softly in the air, but nobody seems to notice, no one really seems to care. The piano plays a gentle answer to the daylight shining through, and the melody keeps floating like the sky beyond the blue. The world outside keeps moving faster, chasing places yet unknown, but inside this little cafe, every heart can rest a while. Morning melody and coffee skies fill the air with shades of gold. Every note becomes a daydream, every story gets retold. The piano sings beside the window while the sunlight slowly grows. Morning melody and coffee skies move as softly as the flow. Someone's reading by the doorway, lost inside a favorite page. Someone's writing down reflections like an artist on a stage. Someone waits for conversation, someone waits for love to start. Someone simply sits in silence, listening closely to their heart. The bass keeps walking through the harmony, like footsteps down a quiet lane, and the brushes paint soft patterns like the rhythm of the rain. Every table holds a moment, every chair a passing scene, like 1,000 tiny stories living in the in-between. A picture made of music, light and steam, like a place that only exists somewhere deep inside a dream. Morning melody and coffee skies fill the air with shades of gold. Every note becomes a daydream, every story gets retold. The piano sings beside the window while the sunlight slowly grows. Morning melody and coffee skies move as softly as the flow. Drift like autumn feathers, floating slowly through the day, and before I even notice, half the morning slips away. Outside engines hum like thunder, people hurry down the street, but the music here reminds me life can still be soft and sweet. There is beauty and simplicity in a cup held with two hands, in a quiet conversation no one ever really plans. There is comfort in the stillness that the melody creates, like a warm familiar shelter waiting just beyond the gates. Maybe joy is not a treasure hidden somewhere far away. Maybe joy is in the the sunlight starts to wander, and the shadows stretch and bend. The music keeps on whispering like a trusted lifelong friend. Every chord becomes a memory, every rhythm leaves a trace, every melody keeps living long after it leaves this place. Maybe all the things that matter cannot really be possessed. They're the moments that arrive when the heart is fully at rest. Morning melody and coffee skies fill the air with shades of gold. Every note becomes a daydream, every story gets retold. The piano sings beside the window while the sunlight slowly grows. Morning melody and coffee skies move as softly as the flow. Morning melody and coffee skies, stay with me a little more. Like reflections on the hardwood or footprints on the cafe floor. Every chord becomes a treasure, every smile a work of art. Morning melody and coffee skies leave their echoes in my heart. Coffee skies in the morning light. Let the melody remain. I found a table by the window just as morning touched the sky. Golden colors filled the cafe while the world was passing by. Coffee rising in soft spirals like a dream above my cup. And the quiet piano playing made me want to linger more. People entering with stories carried gently through the door. Every face a little chapter, waiting to become much more. The city slowly starts its rhythm, cars and footsteps far away. But inside this cozy corner, time forgets to run today. At a table by the window where the sunlight likes to stay, jazz and coffee weave together like the start of a perfect day. Every note becomes a heartbeat, every chord begins to glow, and the morning keeps on dancing to the rhythm journal. The bass is walking through the silence, like a friend who knows the way. And the brushes paint the rhythm in a soft and silver gray. Every melody keeps floating through the scent of roasted beans, turning ordinary moments into something evergreen. The music wraps around the room like a scarf against the cold. Every little passing second feels more precious than pure gold. At a table by the window where the sunlight likes to stay, jazz and coffee weave together like the start of a perfect day. Every note becomes a heartbeat, every chord begins to glow, and the morning keeps on dancing to the rhythm, soft and slow. Hours move like drifting feathers, floating slowly through the light. No one seems to be in a hurry, everything just feels alright. Outside, people chase tomorrow, trying hard to move ahead. But the music here reminds me life is happening instead. In the clinking cups and laughter, in the sunlight on the floor, there are countless little wonders hidden in the everyday more. Maybe joy is not a destination waiting somewhere far away. Maybe joy is simply present in this warm and gentle place. There's a beauty in the stillness, there's a peace in taking time, like a favorite old melody or a perfectly simple rhyme. Let the morning keep unfolding, let the music softly play. For a little longer, let me stay inside this perfect day. At a table by the window where the sunlight likes to stay, jazz and coffee weave together like the start of a perfect day. Every note becomes a heartbeat, every chord begins to glow, busy streets to watercolor. As the morning slowly passes, a cappuccino waits beside me, sending warmth into the air, while the piano near the corner plays as if nobody's there. The room is wrapped in quiet comfort, in the scent of coffee beans, and every note becomes a lantern shining through the silver scene. Someone closes up an umbrella, someone shakes the droplets free, then disappears into the music like another memory. The storm outside keeps whispering against the rooftops and the stone, but inside this little cafe I never feel alone. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a melody so sweet. Soft piano, gentle heartbeats, moving with the rhythm's beat. Every drop outside is dancing, every chord begins to glow. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a world that moves so slow. The windows fog with tiny stories written by the passing steam, and the room feels like a photograph floating somewhere in a dream. A couple shares a quiet conversation at a table near the wall, while an old man reads the headlines without hurrying at all. The bass keeps walking through the harmony like footsteps down a rainy lane, and the guitar paints reflections like puddles shimmering after rain. Every clink of cups and saucers finds its place within the song, as if every little sound belongs exactly where it belongs. Time becomes a softer language spoken only here today, where the rain and jazz together carry every thought away. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a melody so sweet. Soft piano, gentle heartbeats, moving with the rhythm's beat. Every drop outside is dancing, every chord begins to glow. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a world that moves so slow. Hours drift like clouds above me, slowly changing shape and hue, and the city beyond the window looks completely washed and new. The rain keeps tapping on the glass pane like a drummer keeping time, while the piano keeps unfolding one more gentle little rhyme. I remember old September mornings when the world felt just the same. Coffee, music, rainy weather, and no reason to explain. Maybe that's why I keep returning to this corner every year, for the feeling that the music Maybe life is not the thunder or the headlines of the day. Maybe life is in the small things that quietly remain. In a warm ceramic coffee cup, in a chair beside the rain, in a song that softly lingers long after it has played. And perhaps the heart remembers not the places we have been, but the feelings that surrounded us in the moments in between. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a melody so sweet. Soft piano, gentle heartbeats moving with the rhythm's beat. Every drop outside is dancing, every chord begins to glow. Rainy day, cappuccino, and a world that moves so slow. Rainy day, cappuccino, stay a little longer now. Leave your warmth upon the tables, leave your light upon my soul. Every note becomes a memory, every smile becomes a song. Rainy day, cappuccino, a place where I belong. Rainy day, cappuccino. Let the music play. The rain keeps falling softly as the afternoon arrives, but somewhere in the piano, the morning still survives. A vase of sunflowers on the table, catching every ray of light, turning ordinary moments into something warm and bright. The cafe opens with a whisper as the morning settles in. Coffee grinders start their rhythm, and another day begins. The windows frame a waking city bathed in shades of gold and blue, while the piano softly wanders through a melody brand new. There's a sweetness in the silence before the crowd arrives, like the world is taking one deep breath before it comes alive. And the sunlight keeps on dancing across the wooden floor, like it's heard this song 1,000 times and still comes back for more. Sunflowers on the cafe table, golden faces turn to light. Coffee cups and gentle jazz songs making everything feel right. Every note becomes a daydream, every chord begins to bloom. Sunflowers on the cafe table, bringing color to the room. Someone orders their usual latte. Someone asked for chamomile tea. quietly. The bass keeps moving through the harmony, like footsteps down a peaceful street. And the brushes paint soft circles underneath the mellow beat. A young girl sketches little flowers on a napkin by the wall. An old couple shares a smile without speaking much at all. And somehow every tiny detail feels important in its way, like the room is gently teaching how to slow down for a day. The scent of roasted coffee beans floats softly through the air, mixing with the sound of laughter and the music everywhere. Sunflowers on the cafe table, golden faces turn to light. Coffee cups and gentle jazz songs making everything feel right. Every note becomes a daydream, every chord begins to bloom. Sunflowers on the cafe table, bringing color to the room. Across the afternoon, like clouds upon the sky, and the sunlight slowly changes as the day keeps passing by. Still the flowers keep their brightness, still the music softly plays, holding on to little pieces of these beautiful small days. Outside, people chase tomorrow with 100 things to do, but inside the cafe's heartbeat, everything feels calm and true. The piano tells another story without needing any words, and every soul inside the room seems to understand it first. Maybe joy is something simple, not a treasure left to find. Maybe joy is simply present when we leave our rush behind. There's a beauty in the ordinary, in the moments people miss, like sunlight on a coffee cup or a quiet afternoon like this, in a melody still lingering after every note has gone, in a room where strangers gather, yet somehow all belong. And the flowers on the table never ask for anything, still they make the whole room brighter just by quietly existing. Sunflowers on the cafe table, golden faces turn to light. Coffee cups and gentle jazz songs making everything feel right. Every note becomes a daydream, every chord begins to bloom. Sunflowers on the cafe table, bringing color to the room. settles on the city like a blanket made of gold. Sunlight resting on the window as the air begins to glow. Coffee steaming on the table, sending comfort through the room. Every corner feels inviting, like a flower in full bloom. The barista hums a melody as the grinder softly sings, and the piano by the counter adds a touch of silver strings. The world outside is waking slowly, traffic starts to find its way, but inside this little cafe, time decides to drift and stay, where the morning lingers softly and the jazz flows like a stream. Every note becomes a memory, every chord becomes a dream. Coffee, sunlight, quiet laughter, floating gently through the air. In this little corner of the world, there's a kind of magic here. Someone's writing letters slowly, someone's reading by the wall, someone waits beside the window, watching shadows rise and fall. The bass walks underneath the rhythm like footsteps down a peaceful lane, and the brushes on the snare drum sound like whispers after rain. The smell of roasted beans surrounds me, warm and rich and sweet and deep, while the piano keeps on dancing with a promise it can keep. Every conversation mingles with the music soft and low, like a painting made of sunlight in a mellow amber glow, where the morning lingers softly and the jazz flows like a stream. Every note becomes a memory, every chord becomes a dream. Coffee, sunlight, quiet laughter, floating gently through the air. In this little corner of the world, there's a kind of magic here. Without a warning, yet they seem to move so slow, like a feather on a river, following wherever it goes. Outside, people chase their schedules, rushing through another day, but the music in this cafe makes those worries fade away. Little moments become treasures, little smiles become a song, and somehow inside this feeling I know exactly where I belong. Maybe happiness is hidden in the smallest things we find, a warm cup resting in our hands and There's a kind of magic here. Maybe life is not about all the places left to see. Maybe it is found in moments that arrive so naturally, in the scent of fresh espresso, in the warmth of morning light, in a melody that's playing. Everything just feels alright. Maybe joy is in the stillness, maybe peace is in the flow, like a quiet jazz progression, moving soft and moving slow, where the morning lingers softly and the jazz flows like a stream. Every note becomes a memory, every chord becomes a dream. Coffee, sunlight, quiet laughter, floating gently through the air. In this little corner of the world, there's a kind of magic here, where the morning lingers softly as the day begins to rise. Every melody reminds me of the beauty in simple lives. Coffee, sunlight, quiet laughter, and the music drifting near. I could stay inside this moment and remain forever here. Morning light and melodies, flowing endlessly. Morning arrives without a warning, through the glass and onto the floor, painting little golden stories across the old cafe decor. Coffee steams beside the window, curling slowly through the light, like a secret drifting upward in the quiet of the morning bright. Someone hums a distant melody near the counter by the door, and the piano starts to answer, like it's heard that tune before. Everything feels soft and easy, nothing rushing, nothing fast, just a room of little moments, making simple memories last. Coffee stains and daydreams linger on the pages of my mind. Every note the piano whispers leaves a little spark behind. Sunlight dancing on the tabletops, warm reflections softly glow, and the rhythm of the morning moves as gentle as it flows. Someone's reading old love letters, someone's sketching in a book, someone smiles into their coffee with a thoughtful, distant look. the brushes paint the silence with a rhythm calm and sweet. Outside, buses pass unnoticed. Clouds drift slowly overhead. But the music in this cafe pulls me somewhere else instead. Time becomes a little lighter, like a feather in the breeze, and the melody keeps floating with effortless grace and ease. Coffee stains and daydreams linger on the pages of my mind. Every note the piano whispers leaves a little spark behind. Sunlight dancing on the tabletops, warm reflections softly glow, and the rhythm of the morning moves as gentle as it flows. Hours fade like watercolor paintings, blending softly into one. And before I even notice, half the morning's come and gone. Still the room feels full of wonder, in the smallest little things, in the clinking cups and laughter, and the comfort music brings. Every face becomes a story, every voice a passing song, and for just a little moment I forget where I belong. Maybe life is made of fragments, tiny pieces of a day, yet together they become the memories that always stay. I don't need a grand adventure or 1,000 places new. There's a beauty in the ordinary that keeps quietly shining through. In a cup of fresh espresso, in the glow of morning skies, in a melody unfolding like the sunrise in my eyes. Maybe happiness is hidden in the places we ignore, like a favorite neighborhood cafe we've walked by 100 times before. Coffee stains and daydreams, floating through the light. The morning slowly disappears, but the melody remains, like sunshine on an empty table, or soft circles left by coffee stains. Coffee stains. Morning arrives without a warning. Through the glass and onto the floor, painting little golden stories across the old cafe decor. Coffee steams beside the window. songs always seem to stay. Sunlight gathers on the wooden tables and slowly chases all the clouds away. The smell of coffee fills the silence like an old familiar melody, and every corner of the room is glowing with a quiet kind of harmony. The barista smiles and greets the regulars like old friends returning home again, while the piano near the window starts to softly play a gentle refrain. Outside, the city starts awakening. Cars and bicycles begin to move, but inside these walls the world feels lighter, swaying to a slower groove. And I don't know where the hours go when the music fills the air. Maybe time forgets to move in places made of comfort, light and care. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every note shines warm and bright. Coffee cups and conversations drifting softly through the light. The piano sings a simple story, and the guitar gently follows through. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every morning feels brand new. Inside her journal by the window facing east, a young man reads a worn-out novel while enjoying his morning feast. Someone waits for an old companion, someone dreams about a distant sea. Someone hums along with the piano without realizing the melody. The bass keeps walking through the harmony like footsteps down a peaceful road, and the brushes paint the rhythm with a touch both warm and old. Steam rises from ceramic coffee cups like tiny clouds that slowly disappear, and every laugh becomes a memory that somehow feels so sincere. Maybe happiness is hidden in the smallest things we find: a quiet room, a favorite song, and a peaceful state of mind. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every note shines warm and bright. Coffee cups and conversations drifting softly through the light. The piano sings a simple story, and the guitar gently follows through. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every morning feels brand new. Slowly climbs the walls, touching photographs and shelves, and for a little while it feels like nobody needs to be anywhere else. The sound of turning pages mingles with the clinking of porcelain, creating its own kind of rhythm that settles softly deep within. Outside, people rush toward tomorrow, chasing dreams they cannot see. But inside this little cafe, life unfolds so naturally. There's no need for unplanned adventures or stories meant to impress. Sometimes beauty lives in moments wrapped in quiet tenderness, and the music keeps reminding me of things I often leave behind. How peace can live inside a morning when the heart is unconfined. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every note shines warm and bright. Coffee cups and conversations drifting softly through the light. The piano sings a simple story, and the guitar gently follows through. In the little cafe on Willow Lane, every morning feels brand new. Maybe all the world's great wonders are not as far as people say. Maybe they exist in moments that quietly arrive each day. In the scent of fresh espresso, in a beam of golden sun, in a melody that lingers long after the song is done. Maybe joy is not a destination,